Welcome to Conversations from the Barn at Everwood Farmstead. These are casual chats with visiting artists. Creaky barn, bugs, and all. Enjoy. Hey, welcome to Conversations from the Barn. This is Bill. I'm here with Chris, and our guest this week is Leslie Vincent.
Hi.
Leslie's been on retreat with us for the entire week, a very kind of the first week of heat here at Everwood. How was your week?
Hot.
Let's start there. It has been hot. It's not been cuckoo crazy hot,
No.
but we're getting there.
Yeah.
As we end towards the week. How else has the experience been?
It's been both relaxing and fruitful. I feel like I came out of the gate trying to do a lot, and then by Tuesday I was pretty tired. So I decided to do nothing. And then once I let go of trying to get anything done, I found that I was able to create a ton of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I wrote a lot of music. That's really all I did, is I wrote a lot of music, and then I read a lot of my very scary book that I brought. And then I walked every day and hung with the goats.
You know, it's you got the luxury of having this experience all to yourself. Mm-hmm. And you chose to read a scary book in the middle of a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
All right. Good.
Only regret.
Only regret.
But I haven't stopped reading it, so what does that say about me? I don't know.
What is the book? We have to know.
It's It by Stephen King.
Oh, stop it. You're reading it right now by yourself.
Yes.
That is awesome. I wouldn't do that if my life depended on it.
I was telling you, right?
Honestly,
his worst nightmare.
It is my worst. You're literally making me skin crawl right now. I can barely stay in that farmhouse by myself, let alone read that book and then close my eyes.
I do only read the book outside.
Yeah, that really doesn't.
That doesn't help you?
It's not helping. No. I love that you guys talked about that.
We did last night.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah.
You drove into Menominee to get a happy book.
Yes, I got a book called The Comfort of Crows. That was very happy and light.
Okay, so speaking of Menominee, you, a week from now, are going back and you're going to perform at the beautiful Mabel Tainter.
I am.
Let's talk who you're performing with.
So I'm co-billing with an artist named Tommy Ward. He's from Atlanta, and we met on Instagram. And so we performed together in December, and then we have shows Friday and Saturday. And he was coming in to play the Twin Cities with me and said, is there another place we could play? And I was like, well, we don't want to be in the radius clause for crooners.
I love the radius clause.
Love the radius clause.
Ooh, so good.
And he was like, have you heard of the Mabel Tainter? And oh gosh, okay, see, I'm gonna mess up. Menomiomi? It was something like that. And I was like, Menominee? And he was like, it is not called Menominee. And I was like, it totally is. And it wasn't until I was here that I realized how close it was. So I drove out the other day and bopped around and walked outside the Mabel Tainter, and very cool.
Sadly, it was locked, though. You couldn't get in?
I didn't even try. It was so desolate that I was like, no one is here in the whole town.
I almost feel like you have to take a video, like a selfie video of yourself experiencing the Mabel Tainter for the first time.
For a TikTok.
It's really special.
It is
I'm
crazy.
pumped, man.
Yeah.
Have you seen videos of it?
I've seen the pictures. I saw the pictures on the site.
Yeah, which I don't think do it justice. It's just so beautiful. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, I wish. You're going to have so much fun.
I can't wait.
Mm.
What I love is that you're going to do jazz there, which is a music form that is so connected to history, building on history, building on history, building on history. And you were talking about finding kind of the modern voice of jazz.
Yeah, so this retreat, I thought that when I was done writing, I would watch the Ken Burns documentary on jazz. And that has been really inspiring to remember that, that when it started, it was built by by Black musicians who heard each other and said, oh, I like that. What if I took that and did this? And then someone else said, oh, I like that. What if I took that and added this? And then, and in a world before the internet, the way that musicians across the country connected with each other, before even recordings, just, even within one city, how that developed, and then how that transferred from city to city. And then, of course, when recordings came out, it went a lot faster. But really, I think that, to me, I was reminded that the art of listening is almost just as important. And how can I create if I'm not listening?
Yeah.
Which is the heart of jazz. Right?
It is.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Chris and I went to a club at the last time we were in New York. I don't think we've ever gone to hear jazz together. And I got Jazz 101 from Chris Everett sitting in this club, because he was like, okay, now watch what the pianist does here, like following, the bass player, and
see how he picks it up.
Exactly.
See how he's watching.
Yep.
Yeah, and I love that you just mentioned about listening, because that's honestly the first time I've been to live music where I was keenly interested in truly listening and following the progression of the performers. It was amazing.
And I forget who was here at Everwood that did jazz, and they brought up the point that jazz is one of the few art forms that you get to witness being created while it's being created. I mean, live, in person, that, plays are done way ahead of time. All the other,
rock music,
it's all done ahead of time, and jazz is made in front of you.
For you in that moment.
Yeah. How
probably
thrilling.
Thomasina.
It may have been, yeah.
Because that's the only other jazz performance we've had in the barn in over 12 years. So yeah, Leslie's coming back to Everwood Saturday, September 7th. For those that remember, she performed at our launch party, and it was actually one of my favorite moments of the season so far, because the reaction, you know where I'm going with this?
I do.
The reaction of our audience was off the charts. The applause was not only almost ear popping, but it went on for I swear to God, 2 minutes. They didn't stop clapping. And the look on your face was just beautiful, because you were you kind of had this Sally Field moment, fuck, you guys like me. You really like me.
Well, I hadn't appreciated your season, and I thought your season was, I don't even know the right adjective. Honoring, humbling, to be with these musicians that I look up to a lot, and 10,000 Things who I look up to a lot. I was oh, wow, I'm here. And then in that, I was well, I hope that I can sing for these people. That would be really good if I could just sing for them. So, yeah, it felt like a very transformational moment where I was oh, I'm in a different level now.
Yeah, I love that you just said that, because that's how I interpreted it. And I'm glad you feel that way, because what was the song that you led with?
I led with What'll I Do?
Yeah.
Which is one of my all-time top 5 songs.
It's
brilliant.
The best. It's so brilliant. So brilliant.
It was a really great moment.
Beautiful. Beautifully done.
Thank you.
And the performance sold out rapidly. I literally minutes before we decided to add 6 tickets, because now we get a sense for the season ticket holders that are maybe not going to come to every performance, and so we just added 6 tickets minutes before this podcast started. So I'm sure they're going to go. We sent a note to the dozens of people that are on the wait list, and I'm sure they're going to go in a hot second. So,
well, I can't wait to be back. I sang in the barn today, and it just sounded so good. So I think it's going to be very cool.
So the majority of your time has been spent indoors this week in the house writing, or where
Let's say half
where are
and
your
half.
favorite haunts?
I've spent most mornings outside, sitting on the porch and then walking. That's how I've started every day. And then from then on, I would be in the office upstairs. I just took over that whole office in the back. I have my keyboard up there. And then if you looked in there now, there's just sheet music, notes. I put my notes on the pin board of my songs and an order that they could go in, or this idea or whatnot. So just sheet music everywhere. Then I put more sheet music at the piano downstairs, just in case I didn't want to go up the stairs. Just want to play down there for a little bit. And then my ukulele is hanging around. So I really took over the whole space, honestly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you had friends out in the world sending you tunes.
Yeah, so I felt I had writer's block, probably because I was trying to do too much. So then my one friend gave me some prompts, and then an hour later he said, actually, I made this for you. And so he had laid down a track called Checkmate. That was cool. And so I was trying to write lyrics to that. And then I have a guitarist collaborator who I write a lot with. So I would send him voice memos, and then he sent me an idea, and then the next day I'd send lyrics to the idea. And then we just went back and forth, and it was almost the more I sent, the more he sent. So then by the end, it was like, okay, because we have a band rehearsal on Monday. It's like, we have a lot that he and I will chart things out, and then we'll bring it to the larger band so that we're not all trying to create something together. So we'll say, here's the basic chords, or here's the basic structure, and then play from there. But yeah, now we have a lot. And a lot of ideas, this would be cool, or, this tune felt really good. Like, he sent me something that I've never written in this style, but it was almost rockabilly. And man, I wrote it so fast. I was like, yeah, that sounds good. Like swinging and energetic and full. I tend to write, when I'm by myself, I write very kind of mopey indie songs. That's when I decided to watch Ken Burns, because I was like, I'm listening to too much mopey indie music. That's why I'm writing it. I got to get out of here. So yeah, then I just felt so inspired, and then the more I wrote, the more I wanted to write, which was cool. I got in a good flow.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating that you had a solo week, but your tribe all showed up with you.
Yeah, I have the best. It's very cool to have collaborators who want to collaborate with you, who are like, yeah, I like that, or I've been thinking about this,
Or I don't like that.
Yes, or I wrote a blues song last night, and I sent it, and he was like, love it. Wondering if we maybe want to put in some different chords or a bridge. I was like, you're not wrong.
That was a Minnesota interesting.
Totally. I mean, I was like, I like, that's how songs are made. Sometimes you're like, I like this idea. Okay, what we got to I made the broth, right? Now we got to put some veggies in it, some pepper, some chicken. I don't know how to make a soup, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to say.
Do you think that's unique to jazz? I mean, I wonder if playwrights
I have no
are
idea.
able to riff on each other that way, or rock and roll players, or.
I think some playwrights do, because I read a lot of plays for my friends and give them notes. And, sometimes we'll do readings of plays and say, oh, what is this? This doesn't make sense. Or did you mean to do this, whatever. Like my one friend, he did his own retreat and wrote a play. So we've been communicating about how hard it can be to create. And so today he texted me, oh, my play's terrible. And I said, well, send it to me. I'll read it tomorrow. And he said, it's still in my notebook. And I was like, well, type it up, man. I'll read it. Rock and roll, I have a lot of conversations with other genre musicians, and I still don't know how they work. It's so foreign to me, and I'm sure they would feel that what I do is foreign to them. I don't know. I would think that they riff together. I would think that there's some sort of...
They have to.
I don't think anyone... I used to feel very ashamed to have collaborators. Like, why can't I do it all alone? And then the more that I watched other artists, I was like, no, it's all collaboration. They're all, I mean, not to be like super duper cliche, but like the Beatles, right? Like the four of them was the thing, and they all had strengths and they had some success by themselves, but it was the collaboration that was the magic. So since I have come around to that, I'm like, I'm not ashamed to be like, oh, I'm not the most proficient piano player. I'm not going to write, I'm not going to compose the coolest thing on the piano, but I could write some really tight lyrics for sure. And I could write some cool melody lines all day long. So I think it's good to recognize what are my weaknesses and who has those strengths, and then come together.
Yeah.
So speaking of collaboration, do you wish that this had been a joint experience with someone else, or do you sort of love the fact that we didn't give this to you by yourself? You actually had, someone was supposed to join you, I believe, and then you canceled at the last minute. So you maybe got the gift of having the space to yourself, but do you see it that way, or
and
kind of
here we have an extrovert?
I know.
It truly is like the first like extrovert I think we've had here, true extrovert that's had the experience by themselves.
Oh man, you should have seen me when we went out. I was buzzing. I was like, oh man, how are you? How was your day? What did you do? Tell me everything. Like, I learned Lauren's whole life story.
Yeah.
I was like, please, like what's happening?
She's best friends with the waitress now.
Oh my
At Lucette.
gosh. Yes, at Lucette.
You were ready to get out.
I was so ready to get out. I don't know that I would have benefited from a duo retreat without doing this experience by myself. I think it was helpful for me to understand this process alone and really get through it. And then if I did it again, I could collab with someone. But I think if I had brought someone with me, it would have been, I don't know. I think I learned a lot that I needed to learn.
So the funny thing is we send out a survey to all artists after they've left, right? And so we had a soul artist and who said, hey, just to be like, I got a little stir crazy because I was by myself. And so maybe just like a couple more touch points would have been really helpful. So literally we read that together on Sunday morning, minutes before you arrived. So we're like, okay, let's put that into the new plan now. If there's a solo artist, like we reach out and say, hey, how you doing? You want to hang out? And so the great thing is I'm back in the city and Chris sends a note like, hey, you want to go for pizza? And like within about 13 seconds, you were like, hell yeah.
I think I was like, I'd be delighted.
So the power of feedback from artists only continues to improve the experience. It was like so timely.
That's really funny.
Yeah. Okay, I have a beef to pick with you.
Okay.
And I've been here for 14 years. And not that I really want to see this creepy bear, but I haven't seen the damn bear.
Okay, well, if you saw it, you would not call it creepy. That is so insulting.
Well, okay, we talked about like our kind of fear of animals. Like, I really don't want to, like if I'm walking the path, like I don't want to cross paths with that bear. And I don't want to freak out.
He walks the path with car keys.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I'm kind of a dork. But I don't want to freak out other, future artists because it's not a concern. But so Juliet shows up last week and she's like, on the way here, I passed a bear on the road right by your property. I'm like, God, you've been here for 2 minutes and you've seen the damn bear. And now you, this week, send a text and you're like, look what I just saw. And it's a video of a bear. I'm like, I can't believe how many artists have seen that bear and I've never seen it. Can you believe that?
I honestly cannot believe it.
It's crazy. 2 weeks in a row, artists have seen it and from a distance. And yeah, I don't know how.
It's not your spirit animal.
It's just not my spirit animal. I'm going to stick with.
You're a goat.
I'm going to stick with the goats. Speaking of the goats, you're the first artist with the goats.
We love the goats.
Yeah.
The goats are my friends.
They're pretty cute. You had the beauty of having them literally right outside your front door.
Yeah.
Which they won't be going forward because we're going to shift them throughout the property. But were you awakened by Sonia or Figgle or any of them?
No.
No?
I wasn't woken up by them. I just checked in on them. Just looked at my window. How they doing? I'd walk out. Oh, they're napping. Just wanted to see how they were coming along.
Girl.
Hey, girl. I think at one point I was like, hi, honey buns.
Hi, Sonia in the tree.
Oh my gosh, I love Sonia.
She makes her way up into that tree. Oh, there we go. Hopefully that came through the mic because now they're very vocal.
They want to be part of it.
They really do.
I walked pretty far that way, and I'm pretty sure I heard the goats. Unless your neighbors have goats, but it sounded like these guys.
Pretty sure.
Oh, that voice carries for sure.
Yeah, especially when Chris Everett comes walking, because he's already established himself as the king of the treats.
I will use whatever means possible. It does kind of sound like they're being mugged in an alleyway. I enjoy it.
Yeah, that very first day that you arrived, Warren and I were both like probably 100 yards away from them, and one of them honestly was like getting mugged, like somebody getting mugged, and we both came running. And
who's on fire?
What's happening? And it was just, she was standing right there just letting it go. I mean, just thinking.
We should be so lucky.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing better for a singer, I think, than to just hear sounds and be like, I can make sounds too. I don't know. I think it's cool.
Just sing right back at them.
Yeah.
That's what Sonia's doing. She's just singing. Kind of.
Do you want to wrap with the final question?
I feel like I've talked. So here's the deal. Normally I don't talk as much as Chris Everett in these, but Chris blazed a trail through the woods about 30 minutes ago, and I think he's got a little heat exhaustion going on. So I'm filling in the gaps.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Why don't you, please?
All right. Well, we finish our podcast with the same question.
Okay.
And we'll ask you, how have you experienced beauty today?
Man, I took a walk down the road and down a dirt road, and I just hung by the woods for like quite a while. And I didn't go in them because I'm not that kind of person. But it was really good to see them. It was really, really, really good. And I just, I have all the time in the world, so I just stood there.
Beautiful. Forest. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The simplicity of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mother Nature holding you.
Just hanging.
Yeah.
I love it.
We've loved having you here.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
And we're thrilled we get you back.
I know!
Like in a month or so.
Yeah.
Can you just when that applause gets replicated inside this barn, it's going to be just off the charts.
Incredible.
It's going to be so fun.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Thank you.
And I was saying, I think I'm going to bring some of these new pieces.
I love it.
So that'll be really cool to be like, I wrote this right there.
I think that was kind of our master plan, right? Our big master plan. Because you really wanted to make your retreat experience to be kind of separate. Mm-hmm. Many weeks and weeks before the actual performance.
I think that was such a smart idea.
It was smart.
To separate it out.
Yeah.
Because otherwise tomorrow you would be...
That would be hard. It'd be hard because they're so fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it worked out perfectly.
See you in a few weeks.
Yeah.
See you
Well, more like a few months, but...
Yeah. It'll be here before we know it, though.
It will. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to Conversations from the Barn at Everwood Farmstead. Our theme music is provided by John Mark Nelson. Wishing you all good health.